An expectant mother and father are facing a real dilemma. They were hoping for one baby, and they've learned 3 are on the way. Because of the medical risks, they want to reduce triplets to twins. But the California surrogate who's carrying the triplets is refusing to allow that procedure. 26-year-old Brittany Rose Torres is the couple's gestational carrier. Now, in the IVF procedure, doctors transferred 2 embryos, 1 split, all implanted. Voila, 3 fetuses. There are serious risks for a pregnancy like that. One of the biggest is premature delivery. In fact, roughly 90% of triplets are born premature. And the more premature they are, the greater the danger to their lives, to their health, and to their long-term brain development, lung development, their long-term development period. Okay, so the couple decided they wanted to reduce at a 12-week mark. Torres refused. She said she never signed up for an abortion. Now she's in the 2nd trimester. Dr. Arthur Caplan is the director of NYU Langone's Division of Medical Ethics. Okay, so the surrogate says her contract actually provided extra compensation for multiples, for twins or more, so the couple clearly knew it was a possibility.
Right.
Her suggestion is that she said, you don't want triplets? Fine, I'll adopt one. She says that she had told them ahead of time, the only way I would have an abortion is in a life or death situation, and doctors say there's no abnormalities here. Okay, you're basically pitting a woman's right to choose what to do with her body against a mother and father's right to choose what's best for their future children.
And I'll tell you, Contessa, even though it looks murky and sort of a square off on both sides, the surrogate is going to win because nobody, even if you contracted it in clear English prose and said you're going to have an abortion if we say so, isn't going to happen. You can't waive that right to control your own body. If she doesn't want to terminate one of these fetuses now, she will not have that happen.
Any mother who gets pregnant with triplets gets told by her doctor, there's real risk.
High-risk pregnancy.
Exactly.
By the way, not good for the mom. So she's at risk a little bit trying to carry the 3 infants as well. She has her own health thing to reckon with. Nonetheless, it shows us a couple of important things. One, there is no law that governs any of this. California allows surrogacy, but it doesn't spell out anything. If you want to work these things out in advance, it might be useful to say, what's your view about abortion? Let's go through all the scenarios. You know what happens? The surrogate doesn't get their own lawyer. Nobody demands that. The couple who's got more money and usually more resources, they have the lawyer. The surrogate enters in kind of blind, if you will, relying on the commissioning couple to give them legal advice.
And you're saying that no court of law would ever force a woman to undergo an abortion, or as it's called in this situation, a reduction.
Never happened. No, that much is clear. I worry about a slightly different scenario. Let's say the babies are born premature and the couple who hired the surrogate says, we warned you about that, we're walking. Maybe the woman was willing to adopt one of the, so to speak, extra children that weren't expected. She's going to take them all. Are they going up for adoption? Any financial responsibility on the part of the couple who all murky, not spelled out by law or anything?
The United States as a nation doesn't have any regulatory rules regarding gestational carriers. And some states outright ban this practice. California actually allows payments to the surrogate. Does that strike you as odd in a nation like ours where we tend to frown on paying cash to someone to use their body, that we allow someone to accept payment for using their body for 10 months?
It does. And by the way, Pennsylvania just made it legal literally a few days ago. So states are changing, the policies are moving. I think you can't explain this except in one way. We're all nervous about intruding into reproductive freedom. Otherwise, this thing would be legislated back, forth, up and down. But you go to your politicians, whether they're conservative or liberal, and you say, hey, let's make up some rules about who can have babies, how they can have babies. Abortion is looming at one end. What's an embryo is looming at the other end. What are you doing in my bedroom is here. They hate it. So that's why we don't have regulation.
By the way, in this particular case, what do you have people like yourself going in and trying to mediate a resolution between the surrogate and the parents?
If you said to me, what would I do? I'd get somebody, a mediator, an ethics type, and get them in the room and try and work this out. Headed toward court, not good for anybody.
Yeah. Dr. Caplan, great to see you. Thank you.